Guys, I will be dictating two passages every day, one general and one legal. So subscribe to my channel for latest updates. 5 seconds. The democratically elected political leadership has also weakened every institution of governance for perpetuating their power. A few illustrations may be given to prove the point. The Indian political class is solely responsible for creating a situation where the writ of the Indian state does not run in the whole country. First, intensified competition in politics made elected leaders very insecure, and for their political survival, they made use of public power and institutions for promoting their private goals. The whole phenomenon of middlemen in politics emerged to act as fixers in promoting and defending the individual interest of politicians. The very fact that Parliament had to approve an ineffective but important anti-defection law proves that democracy legislatures had become victims of factionalism, floor crossing, and conversion of legislative minorities into majorities on the basis of illegal transactions. Mr. Chairman, sir, I would like to visit some districts with my colleague. The big agricultural cultivate the lands of small farmers on contract basis as sharecropper. The owner is paid in installments. The land legally remains in the owner's name, but it is under the occupation of the sharecropper. Therefore, I contend that this complicated procedure is proving to be counterproductive. The proposal of land reform is a fundamental issue before the nation. The minister is right in saying that suggestions made during discussion would be incorporated in the agricultural policy, and we together shall move ahead with a national agricultural policy. After this, I would take up the issue of pricing policy. It is true that through this some improvement has occurred in irrigation, land reforms, price policy, and agricultural production has increased slightly. The production in 1950 was 5 crore tons, whereas today the production is 19 crore tons. This may not be a big achievement, but still it is an achievement, although part of the Kashmir milieu, and stated that Kashmir is and shall remain incomplete without the Pandits. Anyhow, after these initial expressions, Dr. Abdullah is now concentrating on his first political priority of defining, deciding, and negotiating on a package of autonomy for the state. His second priority is surrender of militants and rehabilitation of surrendered militants. And his third priority is to determine within the package of greater autonomy the quantum of regional autonomy to the 3 regions of the state. Besides these important political issues, Dr. Abdullah has to address other administrative and related matters. In fact, his involvement and proclivities hardly leave any doubt that the issue of Pandit refugees has been relegated to the backstage at the moment in his list of priorities. Beside, by the last 6 years of administrative apathy and political isolation, the refugees are clueless as to what is in store for them. During their exile, refugees, while eking out a living in ramshackle tents, have continued to espouse the cause of the Indian nation even under grave provocation and alienation front the political establishment of the country. Para-Pandit organizations like Panoon Kashmir have been in the forefront in exposing the fundamentalist and communal contours of the militant movement in Kashmir. While doing so, they have also exposed the ruling elite of Kashmir, both of NC and Congress brands, for having pursued a policy of disguised communalism. In fact, the Pandits have been so irked by the Kashmir variety of disguised communalism that during the 1994 UN Convention on Human Rights in Geneva, the Panoon Kashmir delegation confronted the Indian delegation led by Vajpayee on inducting Dr. Farooq in the official Indian delegation. In spite of this, Dr. Farooq and Panoon Kashmir emerged heroes at Geneva in defeating Pakistan, and hence this love-hate relationship between the two sides of the Kashmir story, Dr. Farooq on one side and refugee Pandits on the other. With the youth in Kashmir having tasted the power of the gun with the forced and illegal occupation of Pandit properties and premises in the valley.